Ever since opening in 2016, Lightning Rod has caused Dollywood a whole storm of issues. And now, there are some whispers going around about the future of the wildest roller coaster in the Smokies. A future that you might not like. Or will you? Because later in the video, I share with you how it's very possible for Dollywood to RMC and RMC and make Lightning Rod the world's best roller coaster again. Downtime upon more downtime, it seems like Dollywood cannot catch a break when it comes to their record-breaking Lightning Rod coaster. Dollywood's 3,800 foot long terrain coaster first opened back in 2016 and immediately suffered from a ton of downtime, which really kind of makes sense since this was the world's first ever launched wooden coaster, and to make things even more insane, the launch is placed running up the side of a hill. During the earlier years of the $22 million attraction, you were in for a ride of your life. That is because when Lightning Rod first opened, the train launched all the way to the top of the hill and didn't really slow down at all, resulting in a much more insane and intense ride experience. And you think that quad down is great right now? But sadly, as years passed and the ride suffered from more downtime or just constantly running one train, Dollywood and RMC thought the fix would be to just slow down the launch lift hill. And while Lightning Rod, even with a less powerful launch, is still the best coaster at Dollywood, it still feels a little bit neutered. To try to fix things yet again, between 2020 and 2021, we saw Dollywood replace 2,160 feet of the wooden topper track with a new RMC iBox track. In fact, 57% of the coaster now offers steel iBox track, making Lightning Rod an even more unique coaster than ever before. A half wooden coaster and a half hybrid coaster. And as for the 2023 season, Lightning Rod still has had a good amount of downtime, but when in operation, it's almost always running one train only, which means that only 24 people are riding Lightning Rod every 5 or so minutes, depending on the dispatch times, of course. That is unacceptable when it comes to a theme park like Dollywood, a world-class destination, and is one of the busiest theme parks outside of Florida. Dollywood knows this, and I predict that they and RMC are working together for a solution. And I believe that they have 3 options to move forward with Lightning Rod. And while this is still my favorite roller coaster at Dollywood, Big Bear Mountain, the park's new family launch coaster, is right up there with it. And if you want to know how I rank every coaster at Dollywood, then you're not going to want to miss this video here, and you can find a link for it in the description of this one. So the biggest question surrounding Dollywood is, what is their cinnamon bread recipe? Okay. I know they're not going to tell me that, but what does the future hold for Dollywood and its main attraction? Here are the most 3 likely options in regards to the future of Lightning Rod. Option 1, let it stay as is, and after a year or 2 of running its course, just retire the coaster and tear it down and start fresh. Now obviously, I highly doubt this would happen, but I am sure that it is an option for the decision makers at Dollywood. Or maybe they just call Zamperla and have them add a reverse spike and make Lightning Rod offer a swing launch. Now I'm kidding, of course, and it's time to move on to option 2. Replace the rest of the wooden topper track with steel iBox track, 1,640 feet to be exact. This would hopefully improve the reliability of Lightning Rod. Maybe so, maybe not. But this option would at least make the whole ride experience smoother and more enjoyable. So that right there is a positive. But here's the thing. The biggest issue Dollywood has with Lightning Rod is the launch. When Lightning Rod first opened, it was still to this day one of my favorite roller coaster experiences ever. The coaster traveled over the top of the launched hill at an insane speed, which resulted in a much faster ride from start to finish. I really miss those days. which brings me to option 3. Replace the launch with a chain lift, just like every other RMC out there. And there are 2 scenarios with this option to make lightning rod more reliable, and I really do believe that one of these ideas is what Dollywood is going to do. If Dollywood would just replace the launch lift hill with a chain lift, we know that this would get rid of the coaster's biggest issue. And while I could see that happening, the next hurdle would have to be the second hump, which appears to be around the same height as the top of the launch lift hill. So in order to prevent the train from valleying in the middle of the humps, I think they would have to reprofile the second hump and make it around 10 or 15 feet lower than the first one. This would then allow the train to coast over the second hump at a slower speed before cresting over lightning rod's epic first drop. If Dollywood went this route, then I think the train running through the rest of lightning rod's layout would be tamed a little bit and travel not as fast, which would obviously affect the ride. Now before I share the good news with you and just how Dollywood can make lightning rod the best coaster in the world again, you should consider maximizing your airtime potential when you ride your next coaster, unless it's an SBF spinner. And check out my Keep Riding Coasters gear store for quality and affordable coaster merch for the airtime lovers out there. There is another solution for lightning rod and Dollywood, and this is the one that I predict has a better chance of happening. What if we would see Dollywood convert lightning rod into a hyper hybrid coaster? Currently, lightning rod's first drop is 165 feet, and it's rumored that the Dollywood humps stand just over 200 feet tall, even though they're placed on top of the hill. And since we all know that Dollywood could use a hypercoaster in their lineup, this might be the best and easiest solution to make that happen. As you can see, the launch lift hill ends here, and from there the train then dips down and up the second hump before plummeting down to the ground. So what if we would see the second hump removed completely and Dollywood just extend the lift hill that would now obviously feature just a chain lift? By doing this, the lift hill could reach a height of around 250 feet or so, which would then make the first drop stretch from 165 feet to around 210 feet or so. This would give Dollywood a much more reliable coaster and one they could market it as the tallest hybrid coaster in the entire world. My only hang up with this idea is the top speed of the coaster would then increase to most likely around 80 miles an hour or so. So how would the increased speed affect the rest of lightning rod's layout and the supports? Now don't forget, with this idea, every foot of lightning rod's track would then be iBox track. And we've seen what RMC can do with the insane forces with their steel track and wooden supports. So maybe it won't even be an issue at all. The truth is, lightning rod's future is up in the air, and Dollywood needs to figure something out sooner than later to make its best coaster more reliable. And the easiest solution is just to replace the launch with a chain lift. So what do you think Dollywood will do with lightning rod in the future? Be sure to share all your predictions with me in the comments, and a huge shout out goes to Coaster Habitat for letting me use their 2023 lightning rod POV for this video. So be sure to go check out their YouTube channel. With all that said, thank you all so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.